What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Manchester United are in action again. We're in the Carabao Cup this time for the quarterfinals against Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 8 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. And manager is Ange Postecoglou, who has managed a couple of Australian sides before he eventually went to Celtic in June 2021, where he was there until June 2023, and he won the Scottish Premiership twice. In 2021-22 season, and then also again in the 2022-23 season, along with the Scottish League Cup in 2021 and 22 season, and then the following season as well in 2022-23 season. So he also won the Scottish Cup as well in that season as well. So he's got some experience with regards to winning some silverware. He has won a couple of other bits of trophies as well from his time in Australia as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he did join Spurs on the 6th of June 2023 last season. So he's managed them 65 games. He's won 33. He's drawn 11 and he's lost 21. He has a win percentage of 50.77 as well. So in terms of Tottenham, we did play them earlier on at Old Trafford in the Premier League, where we lost 3-0 unfortunately. Bruno Fernandes did get sent off in the first half, but of course before he even got sent off, like, Man United had basically lost the game. I think we conceded 2 goals in the first half and then the third one in the second half. But before Bruno Fernandes even got sent off in that game, we were really poor. It was a really bad performance, and Eric Ten Hag did tactically get it wrong. I know we were trying that 4-2-4 high press, leaving vast amount of space for Tottenham to basically counter and basically move up the pitch easily. And yeah, it wasn't a great game for Manchester United. But yeah, in terms of some insights coming up to this match, or some recent form, for Tottenham. Tottenham are coming away with a 5-0 win at Southampton, and then basically straight after the match, the Southampton manager, I think Russell Martin, I think that's his name. I forgot his name, but he did get sacked basically. And yeah, before that, Tottenham were in Europa League action. They did play Rangers and they drew 1-1 away from home. Before that, in the Premier League, so last week, they did lose to Chelsea 4-3 at home while they were winning 2-0. So they blew a 2-goal lead. They did lose to Bournemouth as well away from home before that, and then they drew to Fulham as well in the league, 1-1 draw against Fulham at home. So they aren't necessarily coming into this game with an amazing run of form. Yes, they did beat Southampton 5-0, but come on, Southampton have been really poor in the Premier League this season. Like, they are bottom, and yeah, they're not playing. They're probably going to get relegated, let's be honest, Southampton. But yeah, in terms of the League Cup, Tottenham, they entered the EFL Cup in as the third round as one of the Premier League teams participating in European competition. So if you are in European competition, then you enter the League Cup in the third round. So they entered the third round against Coventry City, where they won 2-1 away from home at Coventry. Then they beat Manchester City in the fourth round of the EFL Cup, which was 2-1, and that, I think, was the start of Pep Guardiola's barren run of form, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that was his first loss, and that then led to that string of results whereby they only had 1 win in 10 or 5 losses in a row, whatever it was. Or right now, Man City have 1 win in 11. But I think that was the catalyst, that 2-1 defeat that Manchester City had at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the EFL Cup. So yeah. In terms of opposition team news, Tottenham have a couple of players out. Ben Davies, Christian Romero, Udogie, who is doubtful. I think he picked up a knock in their win against Southampton. Vicario, Van der Ven, Moore, Richarlison and Odegaard are all injury doubts, or they basically are not available for this match against United in the EFL Cup. So yeah, in terms of their starting 11, this is who I'm expecting. I could be wrong with that. You could see a couple of other players start ahead of Johnson or someone, but in terms of their starting 11, obviously Foster and Net, Pedro Porro, Dragusin, Gray and Spence making up the back four, Sarr and Kulusevski making up that 2 in midfield, Johnson, Maddison and Son as that attacking front three with Solanke up front. So in terms of how they like to play, they usually do set up in a 4-3-3 formation or a 4-2-3-1 when they have the ball. In their low build-up phase, Postecoglou sets his team up in a 3-3-5 formation. The goalkeeper acts as the centre-backs. The full-backs then invert coming into midfield as well. And the inverted full-backs actually invert during the build-up phase, creating more options in the centre. Then in the high build-up, Spurs set up in a 2-3-5 formation, the same as a low build-up without the centre-back, without the goalkeeper between the centre-backs. They do like to attack the half space as well, mostly do this from wide areas, from underlaps and stuff. Numerical advantages as well. Another aspect of Tottenham's high build-up is their ability to create numerical advantages against the opponent's defensive line. In terms of defending without possession, in the low press, Tottenham use a 4-1-4-1 formation usually, and they often set up in a mid block, always trying to stay compact while closing the centre, forcing the opposition out wide as well. And one tool that does happen to be compact is that high back line. So they making the space to the midfield line as small as possible. So as well, in terms of they also do like to be aggressive without the ball. They do like to high press the opponent as well. So in terms of, to summarize their tactics, they do like to keep possession. They like to play out from the back, third man runs as well from midfield, high back line like I mentioned, and high press as well. So in terms of their star man, I am going to have to go with Son Heung-min. Son, he's got 6 goals and 6 assists in 18 appearances in all competitions so far this season. So yeah, he's a danger man for for Spurs. He's going to be very dangerous to contain, and play against him is going to be fairly difficult as well. And also, like, I'm going to have to say Kulusevski as well as a honourable mention, because he did kind of do really well against United at Old Trafford earlier on in the season. So yeah, he's another one. In terms of Manchester United, we are coming away with 2 back-to-back wins against Manchester City in the Premier League, and then against Victoria Pleasant as well. 2 very important ones, one in the Europa League, one in the league. Particularly impressed with that away win at the Etihad against Manchester City. It was against all odds, I'll be honest with you, even though, this is my opinion anyway, I didn't really give us a chance, because I thought Man City could just turn it up at any time. But United went to the Etihad and they took the game to them, and played really well, playing out the back, keeping hold of the ball. And I expected Man City to kind of dominate possession, but it wasn't necessarily like that. I think United had 47% possession, but I have to say that most of the possession was held away from Manchester City's final third, so it was a little bit side-to-side passing and stuff, so it wasn't really penetrating their kind of down the centre of the pitch or anything. So yeah, in terms of that win, it was a really good win. Fully didn't expect it. And against Pleasant as well, Victoria Pleasant away in the Europa League, it was like Victoria Pleasant's first loss since December 2022 or something. Like, it was a long time since Victoria Pleasant had lost in the Europa League at home. So 2 very good wins that Man United are coming into. So in terms of team news for United, Shaw, Evans and Mount are all out. Also, we have learnt today that Marcus Rashford has not travelled with the first team squad, so he is not going to be part of the match day. And I've been hearing rumours, and I've been reading rumours, that it was because of the comments that he made, that he would like to leave Manchester United, and Ruben Amorim has just probably just kind of dropped him for that. Maybe he was due to be involved, I'm not sure, but Marcus Rashford has not travelled with the Manchester United first team squad. So Rashford's future is definitely up in the air. Ruben Amorim did come out and say that he's still part of my plans, and his future is still here with us, but I'm not sure how much he genuinely means that. The players come out and said that he basically wants to leave, but obviously the manager isn't going to come out and say he's putting him on the transfer list, because the club is going to hold their kind of it's going to decrease his value in the market, basically, if Amorim's going to be like, yeah, I don't want him and he's on the transfer list or whatever. So manager's always going to say that he wants his players and stuff. So yeah, I'm not really sure in terms of how Amorim well and truly feels about Marcus Rashford. Personally, I think Rashford is a good quality player when he's on form. But he's just shown too much inconsistency in his time, at Manchester United, and possibly because he's been not necessarily surrounded by the best of teams. It's been a lot of kind of up and down since he burst onto the scene, 2016 or whatever it was. So it's been a little bit kind of iffy with regards to his kind of performances. He's definitely been inconsistent, and I don't think Manchester United would necessarily lose out on him if he were to leave. I think there are plenty of replacements out there that we can go out and get. So yeah, that's my kind of view on Rashford. But yeah, in terms of Manchester United's lineup, here it is. Obviously, Onan Rennet. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bayindir as well. He might deserve a chance to start. I'm not sure. But Euro, Maguire, Lindelof as the back three. Dalot, Ericsson, Casemiro and Malassi as that four in midfield. Then Garnacho and Anthony making up the two attacking 10 positions. Then Xerxes up front. My lineup, this is just my lineup. It's not predicted or anything. So when I do these kind of previews, it is my lineup. I'm not necessarily predicting what what Ruben Amorim is gonna kind of play. So I'm resting a lot of players for this match, simply because obviously it's midweek, it's League Cup, and I think we're playing against Bournemouth in the league next. So I'm resting a lot of players. So Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Bruno, Ugarte, Ahmad and Højlund are all rested for me. But I wouldn't be surprised to see any of them starting. This is just my lineup, and I think maybe I would put Anthony at right wing back, then bring Ahmad in, and just play Ahmad in that attacking 10 position. Ahmad has been such a kind of, he's been so good recently. So maybe he is a little bit undroppable. Bruno as well, captain. I've not necessarily dropped him, of course, but resting him as well. Garnacho is coming in. I think he needs to prove to himself and Ruben Amorim and Manchester United that he is good enough to be here. Personally, him and Rashford, like, the jury's out on them. If they can't deliver this season, then possibly I would be looking to move them on personally, both of them, Garnacho and Rashford. But yeah, in terms of Manchester United star man, I am going to have to go with Ericsson for my lineup, of course. But Ericsson hasn't started in such a long time, so I'm not sure if he's even going to start. When he has started, he has looked good. But that double pivot of Casemiro and Ericsson, they're both 32, and you could say they don't necessarily have the legs, and I can fully see that argument. So I don't think we're gonna see Casemiro and Ericsson in a double pivot. But this is just my kind of this is my personal lineup. So personally, I'm pretty sure we're not seeing Casemiro and Ericsson in that double pivot, because I think we did see them against Ipswich in Ruben Amorim's first game in charge, and it just wasn't good. But yeah, in terms of Ericsson, when he has started, he has looked decent in previous games. So that's why I'm going with Ericsson as a star man. So in terms of how do you beat Spurs, of course, pace, power, strength, unpredictability. That's how you attack. But they do leave gaps in midfield, and you've got to take advantage of that space. Hit them on the counter as well. I expect Spurs to take the game to Manchester United, so Man United can play on the break if they leave space. If they leave space in behind. We can also take the ball from them. Like, in terms of holding possession, we've gone to the Emirates and we've gone to the Etihad, played against Arsenal and Manchester City away from home, and we've shown that we can go toe to toe with them in terms of possession. So I think we can kind of take the game to them in terms of possession wise. But of course, I think Spurs are going to be looking to dominate possession, so I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if we do play on the break. In terms of possession-wise, I'm not expecting it to be heavily in Spurs' side. Like, I was surprised when Manchester United did have finished the game against Man City with 47% possession. So yeah, I'm not, I would be surprised if Spurs were to kind of dominate the game in terms of possession-wise, and Spurs were to hold over 60% possession over the 90 minutes. But yeah, in terms of my lineup, that's it. Like I said, I'm not expecting Casemiro and Ericsson to start in that double pivot, but this is just my preferred lineup, because I'm resting players, and I want to see how these players perform, because Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, they played a lot of games. Bruno has played a lot of games. Ugarte is now basically the first name on the team sheet. I think he needs a rest. Ahmad as well, he needs a rest as well. And I think it's good to get some other players some game time. So yeah, in terms of my score prediction, I am going for a 2-0 Manchester United win. Hopefully, my scorers are going to be Xerxes and Ericsson. Hopefully, we can come away with the win, because it's going to be nice to get some silverware for Ruben Amorim, mid-season or end of the season. But yeah, hopefully we can get the win and progress into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Anyway, if you enjoyed this preview, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.